Have you ever noticed this? Your thighs have gotten slimmer over the years. Yet your belly keeps pushing forward no matter what you do. You are eating less than before, your pants still feel tighter around the waist. If this sounds familiar, you are far from alone, and by the end of this video, you will know exactly why this happens and, more importantly, what actually helps. I want to tell you right now. This is not simply because you are aging or not trying hard enough. There is one specific habit, the order in which you eat your carbohydrates, that plays a much bigger role than most people realize. I will walk you through exactly what that order is a little later. According to Harvard Health, as estrogen levels decline during the menopause transition, fat storage tends to shift from the hips and thighs toward the abdomen, favoring visceral fat, the deeper fat that surrounds internal organs. This shift is a well-documented hormonal pattern, not a sign that something is wrong with your effort or discipline. Mayo Clinic notes that this redistribution, combined with age-related changes, explains why so many women see their waistline expand, even without significant weight gain overall. But there is a second factor working alongside hormones, and this one you can actually influence. Aging brings a gradual loss of muscle mass, a condition called sarcopenia, and the thighs hold some of the largest muscle groups in the body. Multiple studies have found a strong connection between muscle loss and insulin resistance. Think of thigh muscle as a storage warehouse for glucose after meals. When that warehouse shrinks, less glucose gets absorbed there, and the excess is more likely to be converted into fat and stored around the abdomen. So thinning thighs and a growing belly are not two separate problems. They are two sides of the same underlying process. Here is where carbohydrate quality and timing come in. A longitudinal study following participants over time found that carbohydrate quality, not just total intake, was linked to visceral fat accumulation. It is worth noting that not every study agrees on this. Some research still emphasizes total carbohydrate quantity as a key factor for weight and fat management. So the science on quality versus quantity is not fully settled. The safest approach is paying attention to both. Now for the order itself. Research published about a decade ago, and reconfirmed in later studies, found that eating vegetables and protein before carbohydrates significantly reduced post-meal blood sugar spikes, with notably lower readings even 2 hours after eating. The mechanism is fairly simple. Fiber from vegetables slows the digestion of carbohydrates that follow, smoothing out the blood sugar curve, instead of letting it spike and crash. Fewer sharp spikes mean less insulin released overall, and chronically high insulin levels are linked to worsening insulin resistance and visceral fat storage. One more concept worth knowing is resistant starch. When rice or potatoes are cooked and then cooled in the refrigerator, some of the starch structure changes into a form that resists digestion, behaving more like fiber. Research suggests daily intake in the range of 15 to 60 grams may support insulin sensitivity, though most people consume far less than the lower end of that range. A simple way to try this is cooking whole grains like oats or brown rice, letting them cool for a few hours, then reheating before eating. A common mistake many women make is cutting carbohydrates too drastically, which can actually accelerate muscle loss and shrink that glucose storage warehouse even further, worsening the very belly fat problem they are trying to solve. The goal is changing quality and order, not eliminating carbohydrates altogether. A few safety notes matter here. If you take medication for diabetes or blood pressure, talk to your doctor before making significant dietary changes, since altering meal patterns can affect blood sugar control. Never stop or reduce medication without medical guidance. Individual results vary, and if you notice unexplained rapid weight or waist changes, please see a doctor rather than assuming it is simply diet-related. For a practical starting point, try this over 1 week. On days 1 and 2, measure your waist circumference and simply reorder your plate. Vegetables and protein first, carbohydrates last. On days 3 and 4, add cooled whole grains to your meals. On days 5 and 6, add 10 minutes of simple resistance movements like chair squats to support thigh muscle. On day 7, remeasure and notice how you feel. This shift in fat storage is not your fault, and it is not permanent destiny either. Small, consistent changes in what and how you eat can genuinely shift the balance. Start tonight with your very next meal. And if this helped, please subscribe for more evidence-based guidance ahead.